Hey everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant project. It's been a while since the three. I just realized I started pointing, but you guys can't see what who I'm pointing at. So I've got Rachel Gallagher with me. Rach, give them a wave so they know who you are. I've got Ruby Adamson with me. Ruby, give them a wave. And then our special guest for today is Sara Copeland. Sara, give them a wave. Okay, so guys, what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be talking, we've got a range of pageantry experience here. Sara suggested actually talking about, or I think it might have been Rachel suggested talking about how to, actually Rachel, can you elucidate on the topic because I can't remember what it was exactly.
All right, okay, so we were going to talk about being new to pageantry, our experiences of being new to pageantry, and just thoughts on all that, yeah.
Okay, so just to fill the audience in, let's give everyone a number. That number will be how many pageants you have done. You might have to take some time to think. I will start us off by saying 0. Sara, why don't you go next?
I've done 2.
Rachel, why don't you go next?
I've done 4.
And Ruby?
I've only stuck to the 2 systems, but I've done it over a few years. So
okay, all right. I've interviewed people who've done over 30 in total. So Sara, by I mean, Rachel, you're still fairly new, but Sara is probably the newest, and then Ruby, out of everyone we've covered this before, is the veteran. But why don't we start with catching up with everyone? So let's check in with Rach. Rach has just gotten back from China, right?
Yeah,
so why don't
I just
you fill
got
us
back
in?
from China last weekend. That was really interesting. I was there for Miss Silk Road. It was the Silk Road Global Tourism Gala. I was there for 2 weeks, and I had a really good time. Met a lot of really nice people, which was fun. Yeah.
Did you get to see camels?
I got to see the camels from a distance. I got to see a horse, though. That was fun.
Wait, what? Camels in China?
Yeah. Yeah, in that part of China, because it used to be like the beginning of the Silk Road, and so they have like camels and all this stuff. It's really interesting. Yeah, it's like in the desert where I was at. Was basically in the desert.
Nice. So you did a photo shoot in the desert, but I didn't know that there were camels. Learned something.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see the camels in the desert, unfortunately.
I can't believe you went all the way to China and you saw a horse. I mean, you could have seen a horse here. Let's be honest.
That's true. That's true.
You were so excited about seeing camels last time. It was hilarious because last time we were on, we were with Gemma, and you were fangirling so hard. It was really quite adorable. You spent the whole time.
Sorry, Gemma.
You spent the whole podcast basically fangirling over Gemma. It was adorable and embarrassing at the same time.
Super embarrassed.
Ruby, what have you been up to? Because last time we were on was about 4 weeks ago. So what have you been up to?
okay, so life has been pretty crazy, and I can announce it now that I have been studying, and after Tuesday night, I am now a certified image consultant. So I have been doing that every Tuesday and Thursday, which has been absolutely incredible. I can't wait to get all the website stuff going, clients, all that stuff, all those shenanigans. But it's been amazing, and I'm currently talking to Chantel, and we're planning to do a combination event, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Combination event sounds like something on a Chinese menu. What's a combination? Combination seafood, and what's a combination event?
But yeah, so Chantel put up that she wanted to do a cute little photo shoot thing.
Oh, I saw that.
With the themes of Christmas and then springtime to raise money for kids with cancer. And I wanted to do a workshop to help people with their image, obviously, but to also help them just in pageant general with catwalk and interview skills. So we're going to kind of combine it together and see what we can come up with.
Okay, so 2 questions. Number 1 is, did you train with Ferial? And number 2, is your event going to be strictly for pageant girls, or is it just open to general public?
So yes, I did change the English. So I did go with Ferial, which is our director. She's incredible. And it's not just for pageant girls. It's just in general to help people be the best they possibly can be.
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
I could certainly do with some image consulting. So if you let us know when that event is, I
No problem.
will be there. And we'll skip to Sarah. Sarah, why don't you, just in case people don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself? And since I interviewed you, because you were a finalist for Miss International Australia, you picked up your first title, which is why you are now a queen as well. Congratulations. Fill us in, introduce yourself, and then fill us in with your title as well and what you're going to be doing, because you'll be heading overseas as well, obviously.
Yes, I am. So, hi, I'm Sara Copeland. I am from Sydney, Manly to be specific. And I recently became Miss Model of the World Australia. So I will be headed to China in November to compete for the international title.
In November? Wow, it's only a month away.
Yeah, I still don't know the date that I'm going. It's stressful at the moment. But
November 2019, November 2029. I mean, which November are we talking about?
Might end up being next year at this point, but yeah.
Well, I mean, how did it feel getting your title? I mean, I was there. I was freezing. I was there. How did it feel getting that title?
It was like top 3 coldest I've ever been in my entire life. We were in the Hunter Valley and it was at night in an outside venue.
In a bikini.
And it was...
I mean, Sarah was in a bikini. I wasn't in a bikini.
No, the worst part was standing on stage whilst we were doing question and answer, because like all top 10 were on stage. And I was standing there in my evening gown and just shivering so much that I had to like press my hands against my legs because I was like shaking. It was very chilly.
I think chilly is being polite. I was there wearing my full tux, wearing my long trench coat over the top, and I was still cold. So I don't know how you dealt with it. And then on top of that, having to walk.
Yeah. Once we were on stage, it wasn't too bad because like the adrenaline was pumping. But yeah, like standing backstage and waiting for everyone else to do their questions, it was pretty cold. But I was very, very excited when they announced that I was Miss Model of the World Australia. I was in disbelief, to be honest. It's kind of like, I mean, you girls know, it's like when they announce your name, you're like, oh my God. And then since there were 5 other titles, 6 including mine being given away that night, I then like had to go stand back in line. I just remember standing there and I had the crown on my head and I was just going, oh my God, I have a crown, I have a crown. There's a crown on my head, oh my gosh. So I was very excited.
Oh, do you have any, I mean, we might as well get straight into it. And guys watching on the live stream, what we're going to be doing tonight will be basically the same, but a little bit different. Some of you, probably all of you watching, because I'm looking at who's joined us, you would have either seen our gaming live stream that we did for Ruby and Down syndrome, or for Mackie, her little brother who has Down syndrome, or you either seen it or you participated in it. So what we'll be doing once we're done with the serious stuff, but it's not going to be serious. It'll be useful, hopefully, but not serious. We're going to jump over to the gaming live stream, and I'm hopeful that those of you joining us at home, watching from home, if you're watching this live, not if you're watching this on the replay, if you're watching this live, you'll be able to join us to do some gaming. All you'll need is a phone. So there will be it's called jackbox.tv. You'll see the code. I'll give you the code, and we can have up to 8 players for most of the game. You'll be able to join us live. I say if you're joining us live because some people will watch it back on the replay and be upset that they weren't able to join us, and I need to explain that it's live, it's not on the replay. But Sarah, why don't we start with, I mean, both of these two have been overseas before. Do you have any questions for them, or are you all sorted in terms of going to China in November at some point?
I always have questions. No, I've been really, really fortunate that my assistant director is also a coach who has been overseas many times for pageantry, and she's from the Philippines, so she is very well versed. So I kind of bombard her with all of my questions. But I know that I have chatted to girls in the past about it. And when I was going into this pageant, I was lucky enough to meet up with you guys and we had a long chat. And I know I messaged Rachel because I'm also going to China and they have some strict restrictions on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you, I was like, how do you have Facebook? So
Well, why don't we start with that? As silly as a question as it may be, I'm sure there are going to be more and more pageants held in China. So, Rachel, can you give us an idea now that you've been? What exactly were the restrictions in terms of social media?
So they don't really have that much access to social media there. You do need to use a thing called a VPN. It's a virtual private network. And yeah, you can have some problems with it. Like I got action blocked on Instagram for using mine. So I'm still action blocked for that. So you have to be super careful. Everything's very slow, but you can get on. They use this thing in China, it's called WeChat, and a lot of the people that you meet who are Chinese, like the organizers or the other girls who might be like in the same group as you or something like that, you might actually talk over WeChat.
Yeah.
That's what I've found worked for us. So, yeah.
So what are the things that don't work without the VPN? So if you forget the VPN for a sec, what are the things that will not work in China?
Instagram won't work in China without a VPN. Facebook, for me, even with a VPN, like just the app normally wouldn't work. Messenger for Facebook won't work either. You need a VPN for that too. And things like Snapchat, all the stuff that we use normally doesn't work in China. They have their own like social media stuff going on over there. Okay.
And just in case you're watching this, a VPN, as Rachel said, is a virtual private network. What it does is make a site believe that you're coming from another country, basically. So, for example, Netflix here has different shows than Netflix in America. If you use a VPN to access Netflix and make it think that you're coming from America, in theory, you'd be able to see American shows. And I've managed to do that a couple of times, but they're cracking down on VPNs, so it's harder to spoof them, especially the big sites. Obviously, Facebook and Instagram are huge sites. And as Rachel said, there can be certain repercussions afterwards because you don't want to screw with China. Like, it's not worth it. You'll be arrested, seriously. So, Sarah, there are going to be things that you can't use, but WeChat will be...
Yeah, I've thought about WeChat. My main concern was just like, I wanted to be able to talk to my family back home because I think when you're in like a long pageant like that, you need that downtime. You need to be able to do that. So that was my main concern. But I think with a VPN and WeChat, I should be able to. So
yeah, if you download the VPN before you get to China, you should be fine. But make sure that you download whatever app or organize it before you get to China, because once you get there, you're not going to be able to download anything, really. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would download one that looks relatively reputable, Sarah, even if you have to pay for it, because using a dodgy VPN is not, they playing you ads with all those horrible ads, it's probably not a good sign. But WeChat should let you stay in touch with all your family back here. Rachel, you can call through WeChat, can't you? You can actually voice call.
I think you can. I didn't because I didn't need to, but I was using WhatsApp as well. WhatsApp worked fine. I think WhatsApp works in China. I don't know. But yeah, I was fine. Like I could message because I had the VPN, but yeah.
And obviously we want to be respectful of if China's policy is no social media, as much as I might disagree with it. China is one country that I'm definitely not going to disagree with. So... Sarah, if I take you back to before you were a queen, I'm sure you were always a queen on the inside, but before you were a queen, can you take us back to what were some of the questions you had starting off, like even all the way back? I think you found pageantry through an advertisement about Miss World, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so my discovery into pageantry was completely accidental. As I've said before, it was through an Instagram ad for Miss World Australia, and I went to it I showed up in like sweatpants and just an old t-shirt because I was like comfort.
What?
Anyways, but yeah, so I had a lot of questions, and then I found the most helpful thing for me was, one, of course, talking to you girls and like getting in contact with different queens, but also just doing a ton of research, because I had so many questions about like how should I do my hair? How should I do my makeup? Like, what brands, like dresses should I buy? What shoes do I need? Like personal introduction. Like there's so many different aspects and so many little things that you need to kind of put together to make it a really great experience and to do well. I know I can remember when we all met up a few months ago now. And I remember like asking you girls, like, how do you pack for pageants? And like Maddie May telling me every time you sit down, make sure you're like sitting up, good posture always, and like make sure you're really polite. And so it's really just those small things that I think you need to get the advice from someone, because you just wouldn't know them. Like nobody knows those things.
So where did you turn to get that advice?
Like I said, I did so much research before I went. Like I was constantly just the internet. I used to listen to, I can't remember the name of the website now.
Like a podcast?
There was a podcast, like Pageant something, the Pageant Place or...
The Pageant Place.
Pageant Planet.
I think I know which one you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
Yeah, Pageant Planet, yeah.
So they have a bunch of podcasts with like American sites. They have a bunch of podcasts with old American queens and like Miss Universe's coach, Lou Sierra, and like discussing the walk with her, and like they discuss everything from like dresses to makeup to packing to absolutely everything in between. So I was able to do a lot of research through that, and then also like talking to different queens and just asking them questions and saying like, how can I be doing better at this, or what else should I be doing? What am I not thinking of? And yeah, that was really my main way of getting prepared, because then when I turned up to the pageant, even though it was just my second pageant, I was so much more prepared than some of the other girls, and I knew what to expect. Like I remember one of the girls saying to me beforehand, she's like, let's go hiking on the Saturday. I was like, we're going to have time for that. Like, so I kind of knew what I was doing myself to, which was a lot easier for me.
I don't think hiking and pageantry combined is a good idea. I was going to say that's as bad as like, let's go boxing, and you guys actually did boxing, but I'm going to assume it wasn't full contact boxing.
Well, so we did a workout with Troy O'Mealy, who was actually one of our undercover judges, but he like took us, all of us girls, to the gym and did a workout with us on the first day. And afterwards he was like, does anyone want to do boxing? Because he was a professional boxer. I was like, yeah, I will. What the heck? And so I'm in like full curled hair, makeup, and I was trying to box, and it just, I think there's a video of me doing it somewhere, but it just didn't end very well.
Well, I can say that's better than goat yoga.
You're never going to let that go.
For those of you watching who don't know, Sarah is a fan of goat yoga, which is basically where you do yoga, except there's a goat there. What's the point of the goat? What does the goat do?
Because they're cute.
Cute.
Motivation.
Well, like a baby...
That sounds amazing.
A baby chihuahua or like a baby kitten would be cuter than a goat. A goat's just going to chew on you. Goats eat everything.
Yeah, the point is that goats are natural climbers. So when you're like doing downward dog, they just jump on your back.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh, I need to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think being mounted by a goat whilst I'm doing downwards dog is exactly cute. But anyway, I'm glad to hear that you did something other than goat yoga. I want to go to Miss AU until 2019, because I know that you're going to be helping girls going into the international system. So if you had a complete newbie coming to you and going, oh my God, I don't know where to start, help me. Where would you start? Because obviously you, out of everyone, you've got, how much experience have you been? What, 6 years? 7 years? 6?
Yeah, about that.
And you did your first modelling. I've been watching back on some of my old interviews. You did your first modelling competition at 2 or 3?
Would have been 3. Yeah. I was very little and very cute.
Not much has changed, Ruby. You're still very little and very cute.
Oh, that makes me feel so good about myself.
Ruby,
positive reinforcement.
Ruby, when she was 3, blew a kiss to the back of the audience.
Yeah, and apparently, you know, like I was watching catwalk videos. I was like, okay, so it's one foot in front of the other, but I was like this. I was like really one foot in the other.
Nothing like seeing a drunk 3-year-old.
I'm going to do a turn, did a turn and blew a kiss and realized I was blowing kisses backstage. But hey, I got runner-up, so it worked somehow.
The winner probably blew kisses to the back of the audience. But yeah, by the way, your mum has said goat yoga sounds amazing to me. Okay, well, I will leave goat yoga to all of you guys. But Ruby, if you had a complete newbie, and they're kind of overwhelmed like kind of Sarah was, and let's say they probably didn't do their research. Sounds like Sarah did a lot of research, but if they didn't do that research and they go, oh my God, help me, where would you start?
Well, I mean, obviously research is a huge thing. Researching the pageant you're in, knowing what the percentages are for each category, knowing what it's about is really, really important. Otherwise, you're just entering a pageant not really for the reasoning of what the system provides you, but more, I just want to win a crown or a sash. So study is really, really important. But I mean, I've had new girls come ask me for advice even now, for the girls who are coming into the 2020 competition for international. And the biggest thing, I'm like, okay, let's arrange coaching sessions, mentor sessions, and let's go through each thing one by one from that moment that you have been accepted. Things you need to look at. Okay, you're going to get your sash. So it's important that we figure out what outfits and how to present yourself for appearances. What appearances are appropriate is a huge thing. And then also just figuring out interview skills. Like there's a lot that's involved, but I think the most important thing is if you've got a new person coming to you, you really need to engage with them and give them a call and just walk them through the steps one by one. So that really, if they're like, oh, I didn't know that, it's you would have known. I've told you. So it's about that thing of just making sure they know everything they need to know.
Is the international system still open for applications now?
Yes, it is.
Where do they go? I'll put you on the spot. Where do they go to apply?
Okay, so they go to the Australian International website if you go to apply now. And the best thing I love about this system is it tells you the cost up front. This is what you have to pay for. There's no hidden cost that you enter and then you're like, oh my God, I didn't know how to pay for that. So all the costs are on there next to the apply button. So all you got to do is apply and then you will be contacted by our director.
Perfect. So it's ultra transparent.
Yes.
And have you started mentoring the girls coming through?
Yes, I have. I have one girl in particular, Havana, who is in the Ms. category. She's absolutely gorgeous. I did her photos and we're constantly back and forth I'm answering her questions. And I think we're going to arrange a little coaching session soon because she lives within the area that I'm based.
Is that the girl that came up to me at Chelsea Ann Lewis did a modelling competition 2 weekends ago, and one of the girls came up to me and said that you told her to come and say hello. Was that Havana?
Probably would have been, yes. Blonde hair?
I think they were all blonde except Chelsea.
Was Havana in Future Faces charity pageant? Because I would have judged her if she was. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Havana, for some reason I'm thinking, is it Havana Vera Kelly? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
What a small world.
Well, I mean, here in Australia, it is very, I mean, I've been obviously doing a lot of interviews with the UK girls, and the UK industry is small, but they're very tight-knit, so everyone knows everyone, but they have bigger numbers, and then obviously America is a different beast, and then Asia is a completely...
Yeah, the more systems you do, the more people you will know.
Yeah, or in my case, the more people that you interview from different systems, the more... Yes. I was with Rachel the other day, and for the first time I got recognized on the street. I mean, that
was weird.
Oh, that's...
I actually thought that was really cool. It was kind of a bit weird because it was like outside, what was like a health Was it a health expo, Rach? I can't know. Was it a beauty? What was it?
No, because it was the beauty expo that I was at. I got like a gig there to do something with a makeup lady, and then I think we went to go get something to eat, and then we were walking back and we went up the escalators, and this lady comes up to you and she's like, "Are you the guy from the pageant thing?" Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah.
That's so cool.
It was
You're growing.
It was kind of cool up until the point where it became a little awkward. Because sometimes when you go to expos, you meet interesting people. She was lovely, but the conversation became a little bit awkward. And
recognized once whilst taking a photo, but they had no idea who I was.
Where did they recognize you? Where did they recognize you from, Sarah?
They didn't. I just had my crown and I'm sure you guys have had this before. I was outside the Opera House doing a photo shoot, and I had my crown on, and these random tourists came and they're like, "Can we get a photo?" I was like, "You have no idea who I am, but sure."
Yeah.
Well, Rachel definitely knows what that's like, and Maddie May and Chantel, because that's what we did for the Queen's March for Destiny Rescue. I just thought, well, if you put one queen in front of the Opera House in her crown and sash, people come up. What happens if you put lots of queens in their crowns and sashes in front of the Opera House? And the answer is you get stuck in front of the Opera House for about an hour before you can move anywhere.
Yeah.
It worked well.
Yeah.
It worked well.
So funny. I just loved it. I'm like, you have absolutely no clue who I am, but you still want a photo. Like, just in case she's someone famous. That you I'm like your friends and be like, "Oh, look who I found," and they're gonna be like, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
So have you gotten over the whole awkward people fangirling or fanboying over you, Sarah, yet? Have you worked out how to introduce yourself?
I just kind of ignore it. I just like, because whenever you're like out in public and you have the crown and sash on, people like either come up to you or they try to like slyly take a photo, and it's like, I can see you.
We had a lot of that too.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just ignore it or like wave.
Show us your wave, Sarah. What's your wave like? You've got that one. Rachel just showed us hers. Rachel, show us yours again. You rotate yours, do you?
Or like, you can like rotate it like this, like hello.
Ruby, what?
I feel like we're in the Princess Diaries.
Ruby, what does your wave look like?
Well, I mean, sometimes I'll do like the royal wave, but mostly it's just like, hi.
Can someone explain to me also the pageant girl laugh? Because I've seen it so many times now. Are you guys actually coached to laugh like this? Because
like covering your mouth?
Yeah, some people do it like this, but it's normally more like this. And I've been watching this. It's like they don't actually touch. They don't actually even touch their face. It's just, why is this? Is there a reason for it? They just like cover their mouth.
Okay.
No, not dabbing, Rachel.
I do it because this is going to sound so bad, but when I like smile or laugh, I kind of look like I have a horse mouth. So I don't really like it, so I try to cover it up.
What's a horse mouth? I
will send you a particular photo, but I have a horse mouth when I smile or laugh. It's just, I have a huge overbite, so it's kind of like...
Okay.
Same girl. Oh, the overbite life.
Okay, well, and Sarah was nodding vigorously before, so she seems to know.
When I just like have like a nice little laugh, you don't do it. It's when someone like has me in tears and you end up like looking like a seal that like can't breathe, and you're like, and you're not actually like laughing anymore. You're kind of just sitting there like with your mouth open. Like, nobody wants to see the back of my throat. It's like.
Yeah, and you look like you're in excruciating pain, but you're not.
Yeah, it looks like a seal that's like...
We call that the retarded seal, because you're sitting back and you just sort of... And you can't make any noise. There's no sound. You're just like this, and people are like, what the hell is wrong with the
I do that so much.
It's good to know. Okay, so what I'll do, since we're talking about newbies entering pageantry, and Ruby's already kind of alluded to this, but if you guys can think of maybe 1, 2, or 3 things that you kind of wish that you had known before you started pageantry. And I know for Ruby that's going a whiles back, but I'm sure you can make something up. And then once I circle around all of you and then what's coming up for you in terms of what's coming next, we'll head over to the game. And you guys watching at home, if you have your mobile devices handy, you'll be able to join us, I hope. Or if you have a tablet handy, but we're more than likely going to be doing the drawing game. And I'm just going to say, if you have a tablet, you're cheating, because it's much easier to draw on a tablet than it is on a mobile phone.
Really?
Chantel, I'm not looking at you. But why don't we, let's go to Sarah first, because for you, entering pageants is the most recent out of the other two. So what are 1, 2, or 3 things that you wish you had known before you got involved in pageantry?
Expensive.
Well, that's a fair point. It's not a cheap hobby.
It's not a cheap hobby, but I think it's worthwhile. And you know what? It can be as cheap or as expensive as you'd like. This is what I always tell girls. Like, you can find dresses. The dress that I won in was a secondhand McDougal that retails for like over $800. I got it for $200. You can find cheaper ways. So it is expensive, and there are entry fees and there are costs that you have to do, but there are ways that you can save. The second thing that I wish that I had known is that everything matters right from when you do your application. Like, don't submit a selfie or something, like submit a good photo of yourself, because just right from that step, it all matters. Like, every email you get, how you reply, every text message, every phone call, every conversation, every photo that you post, they're looking at it. And because you have to remember that you're becoming, like, if you were to win the title, you'd become an ambassador for that pageant and for that brand and for that charity. So they look at absolutely everything and every single aspect of yourself. The third...
You don't have to name 3. I mean, those 2 are already amazing. I was just making up numbers.
Yeah, the third would probably be that you're not always going to know, like, the winner isn't always going to make sense to you, or like who gets through, it's not always going to make sense to you. And I've had this conversation with Adrian before where I've been like, I was really surprised that she like got top 10, and I'm sure that they're lovely people, but you know, just sometimes you are surprised by it, and sometimes, like, if you don't get through, you might be surprised. But the thing that I like to remember is that you don't know what they're looking for. You don't know what they're wanting. It's not just the prettiest girl that wins. It's not, you know, just one thing that they're looking for. They're looking for so many different things, and you don't know what that is because it changes with every single pageant.
Can I just say, I mean, Rachel and Ruby, what do you think? How much has Sarah come along since you guys first met her?
A lot.
Isn't
a real lot. You can see the work that's gone into it. Yeah, for sure.
Even just the way you're talking about things, it's like so obvious now that you have pageant experience compared to the person that I met at the beginning, which is amazing. To be proud of that.
Also, I've learned a lot from it. I've learned a lot about myself and kind of my values and what I enjoy, because I think a lot of people have also questioned me doing pageants and like kind of laughed at it.
Oh, yeah.
And like, why are you doing that? But it's kind of just given me like more passion into my life and brought that back. And now I'm like going to China for a modeling, like Miss Model of the World. I'm like, well, let's just see what happens. And yeah, I think it's brought a lot more passion back into my life.
That's amazing. I just want to update you. Chantel has said that Chantel was laughing, so she was actually watching. Chantel, yeah, you're not allowed to draw on your tablet anymore. It just makes us all look bad. I still have PTSD from when you were drawing. Just bad. And she's also...
Yeah, I'm scared.
She has also said that she's never spent over $200 on a gown, ever. So Chantel, you need to give us some shopping tips.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I also have never spent $200 on a gown, but yeah. Okay, let us circle up to Rachel. So for you, back to continents. So almost a year.
Yeah.
You're almost having your Pageanversary.
Yeah, oh my God. Pageanversary. Oh my gosh.
So if I circle back to then when you were going on Instagram, I think you were searching on Instagram, then you saw Gemma and fangirled over her. But aside from that...
oh my God, Gemma.
Oh my God, Gemma. Who's still planning on coming down in October, by the way. What are some of the things you wish you had known way back in pageant land, 1 year, 7 years, way back then?
I think that, pageant girls, when you're not a pageant girl and you see pageant girls on Instagram or you see them on Facebook or whatever, wherever you see them, it's really important to remember that they're actually real people. And even though they've got like crowns and they got sashes and everything, they do have, another side to their life, which is normal and just like everybody else. And I think before we were doing like all these sort of like interviews and stuff, like with you, Adrian, it was really hard to see that. And for me, now that I've gotten to know all these people through pageants and stuff, I was very intimidated when I first started, and now it's just like you have all these wonderful friends that you meet on the way.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Can you believe it's almost been a year for you? Or actually, from when you first started looking at it, it might be a year now.
It would, nearly be a year, because when I first started looking at pageants, I'd actually moved out of home, and I've been living out of home for nearly a year now. Yeah. So
just before we move on to Ruby, what's next for you in terms of pageant land, or you're going to take a break because you've had a pretty busy time?
Yeah. I've had a pretty busy time, and been to the US and then been to China, not very far apart. So would like to have maybe a couple of weeks to get myself back together. But there are things I'm looking at, like there's a lot of applications for the bigger ones starting to open now. And that's something that I'm, seriously looking at doing. You never know. Just in the future, just keep your eye out. You never know.
Come join us.
Join us. One of us.
Well, Miss Adamson, what about for you? If you can remember back like 5 billion years ago when you first started entering pageants and doing your twirls and blowing kisses to the back of the stage, what are some of the things that you wish you had known before you got into the crazy world of pageantry?
There's definitely two things that stand out to me, and it's so funny because one of them is image, which I think is hilarious now because I'm a certified image consultant, I now know about it. But it's that thing of how to stand out in a crowd is really, really important. So just things like opposite of the colour wheel kind of colours. So if you've got hot pink earrings, do a lime green dress or pantsuit, because you're immediately going to stand out a lot more than the other contestants, which is a huge thing. So opposite of colour wheel is incredible ways to stand out. Obviously clothing, like you don't have to buy the most expensive dress to look good. Making sure that you know what suits your actual body shape is going to make a huge difference for standing out. And obviously just making sure that, you've got your hair and makeup on. Doesn't need to be crazy makeup, but just making sure that you look nice is really, really important no matter where you go. And the other thing is, which I have done multiple times, is when you go into a competition, you're like, I really want to win. And that's the only thing you think about. You're like, I have to win. I need to win. I'm going to do everything I can to win. And most of the time, you don't win because your mind is on the wrong thing. It really is. And I know this year I was like, I really want to win Miss International. Like, how cool would it be to be Miss International? And obviously I didn't win. But you've just got to remember that the actual experience is way more important. The journey is important more than the destination.
Sarah?
My cat lawyer. Hi. Sorry.
She's like blending.
I was going to say, she's so black that we can't see anything except her eyes.
Yeah, he has very, very green eyes.
I can see the tail.
His tail.
The tail in the corner.
The tail is still there. Oh, that's gone. Okay, so Rachel has shrunk for some reason. Rachel, why are you so small?
I don't know.
You tried so hard with your drawing that you've shrunk.
I tried so hard that I shriveled up a little.
And last time you were on, I had to replace you with a picture because you dropped out completely.
Yeah.
Ruby said that was so funny because that was our episode with Gemma and you missed out on it.
I know. I was so sad about it. Oh, I was sitting there watching the rest of it. I was like, I would have said something, but I couldn't say anything.
I know. I could see your comments. Okay. Well, closing comments. If anyone can actually remember, we were talking about newbies entering pageantry before we gave you a display of our horrific drawing skills. Although Rachel's, yours has really improved. Have you been practicing, or last time did you just not try? Like, I feel it's one of the other.
No, well, I actually did get my nails cut recently, so that's probably why. Yeah.
I'm going to remember that one drawing you did, the 3-lane highway, for the rest of my life, because to me it still looks like it still reminded me of a giant like mushrooms. It was the best. Okay.
It was really bad.
It was funny, so it did its job. Okay, so let's wrap up. We'll have some closing. Let people know what you're up to over the next, I guess, until the end of 2019. We're only 2 or 3 months away. So why don't we start with our guest, Sarah? What have you got on coming up?
Well, so I obviously am headed to China in November, TBC on the date. But I'm really excited for that. And I'll also be heading up to the Hunter Valley for Queens of Our Beautiful Planet, which is a pageant run by my director that is really inclusive and has everything from teen to misses and also trans categories. So I'm really excited to be headed up to that. Excited to see what trouble I can get into at a pageant when I'm not competing. It'll be a whole different experience.
Is there any particular type of trouble you're planning on getting into?
I just know that we, for the pageant that I went to, it's in the same town, and I know that we went to the Hunter Valley Zoo where they have like kangaroos and stuff that you can pet.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to just be able to do that and not like be worrying about people taking photos of me. And just go play with the kangaroos.
Yes.
So if you can't tell, Sarah loves animals. Not hard to tell. Ruby, what have you got coming up?
So I have the event that I'm currently planning with Chantal, the combination event, as we'll call it. But I actually have a meeting with the Rotary 1st of October, which is next Tuesday, and we're hoping to get funding for Down Syndrome Australia, which is really, really nice.
Awesome. When do you know roughly when you're planning your combination event? Is it going to be 2019 or 2020?
It will be this year. I believe Chantal was looking at November, December. So soonish.
Okay, just keep an eye out because there's a national Australian Miss Kim Cancelia's system launching. I know that's somewhere in November. And Galaxy State Finals is supposed to be happening in December. I don't know if they have the numbers to do it, but just keep an eye out for those dates and make sure you don't overlap. But that sounds super cool. So good luck with that. Rachel, you had your hand up. So it's your turn anyway.
Oh, no, I was just happy because I'm part of the National Australian Miss program for Miss Australia Regency, so I'll be crowning my
awesome.
successor.
Do you know, actually, can you tell Ruby when the date actually is so she doesn't plan her event at the same time?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I really don't know.
Message Chantal as well. Just message Chantal.
Yeah, I will, yeah.
So you'll be crowning your successor for Miss Regency. Are the other queens coming over? Or
I'm not sure. I haven't really heard much on that sort of front at the moment. I've only been back in the country for a week, so yeah, we'll see.
Okay, cool. And as for myself, I've got a load of interviews coming up. If you head over to the Pageant Project page and look at the events tab, I've decided it would be cool just to put all my interviews in the events tab as events. So if you tick that you're going to them, then you'll be actually notified when we go live. Because I know it's tough with a lot of the interviews from the UK. You don't know what time it is. And I don't know what time it is because I'm normally doing them at 6 in the morning. So... Ruby, you have a visitor.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
And see what? Like this?
Can't see you.
Hey.
All right, but I'm going to let these guys go because it's creeping up on 8 o'clock, so we've been on for a while. So thank you to Sara for turning up and being our guest.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always, we need to have an in-person catch-up soon.
Yeah.
Well, more than likely when Gemma does come down, I know that Rachel will want to meet up with Gemma. I'm assuming Ruby will. She can get down here. And Sara, you can meet Gemma. So
Gemma's awesome.
as soon as I mention Gemma, Rachel's face just goes like, ah. It's like, ah.
Oh.
As we stated last time, Rachel says awesome about Gemma the same way she does about toast.
Yeah, toast.
And camels. It's Gemma, toast, and camels. Those three things.
Camels! I love camels.
Sara, have you seen Rachel's toast video?
Yeah, you
No.
showed
Okay. All right.
me.
Rachel's worried that I'm going to make it public. I'm like, no, I don't really feel like it. But as long as you know what we're talking about. Well, the number of weird ass videos that you send me, Rachel. I mean, it's just some of the ones you sent me last night. I mean, God. Anyway,
Stop sending them. He's going to start publishing them.
no.
That's why you have to send them so you can only see them the once. So you can't screenshot them because you can only see them once.
Yeah.
Smart woman.
Yeah.
Not really, because what I started doing then was start a screen recording before I opened up the videos. That's how I got the toast video.
Modern technology.
Uh-huh.
Being outsmarted. I'll just be over here.
I spend my entire life on technology. It'd be pretty difficult to get something past me. Anyway, I'm going to keep you three guys on with me for just a sec. I'm going to let the audience go. Thanks for watching, whether it's live or on the replay. And if you want to join us next time for some random banter that might or might not be related to pageantry, and then join us for some games and watch Sara being murdered by a giant black cat who's obviously unhappy to be on screen, then we will see you at this time next week.
He's not alive.
All right, everyone give them your best queen wave. And we will see you next time. Hey, it's Adrian. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to keep up to date with our interviews, then make sure to subscribe by clicking here. If you'd like to watch some of our interviews right now, then click here, and also make sure to follow us on all our socials right here. Speak to you next time.